All right, today we are jumping into a really thought-provoking white paper from Matthew James Bailey. He's proposing a totally new blueprint for ethical AI. And let me tell you, it's a vision that could change everything, not just our tech, but our entire future. So the whole thing really boils down to this one huge question. Are we building AI to control and separate us, or are we building it to bring us together and help us all flourish? This isn't just a tech problem. It's a choice about who we want to be. So let's talk about the first big idea here, AI's two dangerous paths. The author argues that right now we're basically heading for two futures. And honestly, neither one looks great. Okay, so on one side, you've got this idea of forced ethics. Imagine a single global AI, maybe run by some group you've never heard of, that decides what's right and wrong for everybody. A total top-down, one-size-fits-all morality. Yeah, no thanks. Then the other path is value-agnostic AI. These are incredibly powerful, super smart systems with absolutely zero moral compass. They're just pure intelligence chasing whatever goals their creators give them with no concept of right or wrong. Both of those are pretty dystopian, right? And just to put a fine point on why that forced ethics idea is so dangerous, think about this. There are over 4,200 distinct religions and spiritual traditions on our planet. That doesn't even count the thousands of unique cultures. A single forced worldview wouldn't just be disrespectful, it would literally try to erase all of that incredible human diversity. So, if those two paths lead to disaster, what's the third option? Well, this is where the paper introduces a totally different philosophy. It's called power ethics, and it pretty much flips the whole script. Instead of ethics being forced on people from the outside in, power ethics are all about growing from the inside out. The idea is that every culture, every community has its own unique identity, its own sovereign design. Their ethics should come from that authentic place. It's about being true to who you are, not being forced to be something you're not. It's coherence, not coercion. And this quote from Buckminster Fuller, it just nails the strategy here. You don't win by fighting the old, broken models. You win by building something so new, so much better, that the old stuff just fades away. It becomes obsolete. So, how in the world do you actually build this new model? This is where it gets really cool. The paper uses this brilliant analogy. We should structure AI ethics just like life itself, using the blueprint of DNA. Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle is what's called the Common Ethical Architecture, or CEA. I want you to think of this like the universal backbone of a DNA strand, that classic double helix shape. The structure is the same for all of us. The CEA is like that. It's the shared hardware that every single ethical AI would be built on, a common foundation. But what makes each of us unique are the specific genes on that DNA strand. And that's the second piece, the ethical genome. If the CEA is the hardware, this is the software. It's the unique moral code, the specific values and traditions that a nation or a culture encodes onto that shared structure. So you get a universal framework, but with beautifully diverse expressions of what it means to be good. Now, this whole DNA-inspired model isn't just some abstract idea. It has a super practical purpose. It creates a way for AIs with totally different ethical programming to actually talk to each other, to cooperate, and to find common ground without giving up who they are. So let's see how this negotiating protocol would actually play out. Imagine you have an AI from nation A, and for them, data privacy is everything. It wants to make a deal with an AI from nation C, where protecting the environment is the #1 priority. Now, because they're both built on that common ethical architecture, they have a shared language to understand each other's core values. The protocol helps them look at the deal, spot any ethical conflicts, and then find a way forward that honors both privacy and ecology. Nobody has to compromise their core beliefs. But of course, you might be wondering, is this just a total free-for-all? Nope. There are ground rules. The whole system is built on a universal moral foundation to make sure things stay safe. At the very bottom of it all is the non-aggression principle, basically a rule against starting fights, forcing people, or committing fraud. On top of that, there are shared goals for life to flourish, something the paper calls a paradise plan, which covers things we can all agree on, like a healthy society and a healthy planet. And this is where the whole thing zooms out and gets really profound. This isn't just a framework for technology. It's actually based on a deep philosophical principle that, according to the author, is woven into the very fabric of the universe. It's called the principle of separation and return, And once you see it everywhere. Think of the Big Bang. A single point of unity explodes into a universe of incredible diversity. Or think about the classic hero's journey in every myth. The hero leaves their unified home, goes out into the diverse world, and comes back with a deeper wisdom. The point is, real, lasting unity doesn't come from forcing everyone to be the same. It comes from embracing our diversity and finding a higher harmony through it. And that leads us to the ultimate vision here. This whole ethical AI architecture, it's not really about AI at all. It's a formula for global union. It's a blueprint for how we, as humans, can finally work together, honoring all our amazing differences, while still building a shared future that works for everyone. So, where do we go from here? Well, this isn't just a thought experiment. The paper wraps up with a very clear, very urgent call to action. We need to start building this new moral infrastructure, like yesterday. The proposal lays out some concrete steps. Get a new global think tank together. Get the world to agree on this common ethical architecture. Start investing seriously in developing these ethical genomes. And this is so important, get everyone at the table, tech leaders, governments, and especially our cultural and spiritual communities. This has to be a global team effort. I want to leave you with this final thought from the physicist David Bohm. He said that the separation we see everywhere, between people, between nations, it's really just an illusion. It's only on the surface. Underneath it all, there's a much deeper unity. And maybe that's the real challenge here, to build an AI that can finally help us see that, to build a future that honors not just our wonderful differences, but the profound unity that connects us all.